Alright guys, in the last video I showed you how we could serve static HTML pages. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we can serve JSON content as well. And this is how you would make a RESTful API, which we'll be looking at later on. Alright, so what we're going to do is go right under where we set our static path. And we're going to set a route here, app.get. And let's call this, we'll say /people. Or let's do /users. Okay, and then we're going to have a callback. Actually, we'll use an arrow function. Okay, it's completely up to you. If you want to stick to ES5 syntax and do function, that's fine. But this is a more modern approach. Okay, so it's going to take request response. Alright, and I'm just going to change this to an arrow as well. Okay. So what we're going to do is create a variable. Let's say we'll say users, and we're basically going to just set a Json array. Okay, so here's an object. We'll say first name John. Sure, should probably use double quotes. So first name, last name, and let's do age and gender. Okay, so there's one user. Let's put a comma there, and then we'll copy this, paste in two more. So for this one, let's say Tom Jackson. We'll say he's 23, male. And let's do Tracy. We'll say Tracy Smith, who is 38 and is female. Alright, so we have an array of users. Now let's say we want to serve this as JSON. So what we would do is, let's go down here and say res.json, and then we're just going to pass in users. Okay, so let's save that, and then we'll go to, now remember we're using NodeMon, so we don't even have to reload the server. It should do that for us. So now if we go to users, you'll see that it's going to serve us that JSON array. So let's think of some other things that we might want to serve. How about PDF files? Alright, maybe we want to be able to download a PDF file. So let's take our project folder here, and I'm going to create a folder called downloads. And inside there we're going to put in just a sample PDF file called pdf.pdf. And let's create a route. So we'll say app.get, and let's make it /download. Okay, and then what we can do is we can take that response object and call .download. And then we'll use the path module. We'll say path.join, just like we did up above with the static folder. And we'll say dir name, and then the location of the file, which is going to be /downloads/pdf.pdf. Okay, so let's save that. And now if we go to localhost 3000/downloads, just download, and we get a prompt to download the PDF file. Alright, so just another thing that we can do. Let's see, what about redirecting? What if we want to, for instance, be able to go to /about and get redirected to about.html? So for that, let's say, actually I'll just copy this route. Okay, we'll say /about, And what we can do is we can say res.redirect, and let's redirect to /about.html. Okay, save it. Now if we reload, it redirects us to about.html. Alright, now the last thing I want to do is show you how we can set up a post request. Now usually a post request you would submit to with a form. So what we'll do is go to our index.html page, and let's go ahead and create a form here. So let's say this is a newsletter form. We'll put in H4, we'll say subscribe to our newsletter. Okay, so we'll put a form, and let's put a label, say email, input. Let's give this a bootstrap class of form control, and let's see, we'll give it a type of text. We'll give it a name of email and a placeholder of email. Okay, let's make sure that shows up. Okay, we probably want a name form too, so actually let's put a div here around this label and input. Okay, then we'll just we'll give this a class of form group, and then let's go ahead and copy that form group, and then we'll have a name, and we'll give this a name of name, and we'll also change the placeholder. Okay, and that last thing we need is a button, so let's say button, and we'll give it a type of submit. Okay, give it a class, bootstrap class, btn default. Alright, so now we have a form, and we want to submit this to our server. So let's have it go, we're going to go to the form tag, and we'll say action, or actually we'll say method equals post, because we want it to be a post request, and then the action, we'll send that to /subscribe. Alright, so now we need to create that subscribe route. So let's go back to our app.js, and this time we're going to say app.post, because it's going to be a post request. And we'll say subscribe request response. Alright, now as far as what's going to happen here, we're not going to, we don't have a database hooked up or anything. Basically, I'm going to show you how we can grab the name and the email field. But before we can do that, we actually need to install a module called body parser. So let's go back to our command line, and we're going to just Control-C to stop this, and then say npm install body-parser, and then --save. Okay, and now let's go back and do node-mon, and let's make sure that got saved. You can see in our package.json, body parser was saved, and now we just want to bring that in up top of our app.js. So let's say const require body parser. Now this takes some middleware that we need to set up. So I'm actually going to just paste that in, and this is just standard. It's in the documentation. Just app.use bodyparser.json and then bodyparser.url encoded, and we're going to pass in the option of extended false. Alright, so now we can continue down here in our subscribe, and we should be able to set let's set a variable called name, and we'll set it to request.body.name. Okay, and then we'll set email to request.body.email. Now this name and email is coming from the form's the input name, so this right here. Okay, and then all I want to do is just console.log, and we'll say name concatenate, we'll say has subscribed with, and then we'll just concatenate email. Okay, let's save that. Okay, we have nodemon running, so we shouldn't have to reload the server, but let's show the command line here, and let's go ahead and add something. We'll say test at test.com, and then for the name we'll say test. Submit, and it says over here test has subscribed with test at test.com. Okay, so we successfully made a post request to our server, and we took the form inputs and then we just outputted that log. Alright, so just some examples of what we can do with a simple Express web server. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this project, and I'll see you in the next one.